This is a Mercy Girl production.
Hello folks, Mac T again, and this is how I'm going to review a dash cam. Now, I already have this exact same model of dash cam, and it is, of course, about 60 bucks I think is what I paid for it. But this is called a Black Box HD, and it is a 1080p dash cam, and I bought it because I'm going to take and install the old one that's currently has an LED display issue. It still records, but it won't show me the display anymore. So I'm going to move it to the back of the car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and replace it with this new one. Now, of course, the box comes, I've unwrapped everything to make it easier, but the box comes with a very lengthy power cord. It plugs into a cigarette lighter. And then, of course, it comes with the camera. It comes with a set stand here that you can unscrew and release, and then of course a suction cup. One thing about these suction cups, folks, I have found that after about a year's worth of use, the suction cup gives up. And I'll show you in the video, but basically what I did, rather than spending a whole lot of money trying to find alternates, all I did is I went out and I bought Gorilla Glue. I tested it on glass, and I found that I could actually take, and if I wanted to remove the suction cup, I just take a razor blade and then get it up underneath the edge here, and I could just peel it right off the glass. So what I did is I just did a few touch spots of Gorilla Glue on it, and then I held it on place, and you know what? That thing has been there for 6 months. It hasn't moved in the heat and everything else, because I tried tape and everything else, and it just kept falling down. So I glued it, and it's been sticking ever since. But this is the Black Box HD, and of course this is a camera. Now when you have it mounted on the glass, it'll look like this. It'll be, if it's facing us, this is how we would see it looking at it as it's facing forward or backwards on the back of the car. It'll, of course, has a pretty decent angle, as you can see, to mount it, so you can mount it on the back window, the front windshield, and everything else. But I do have this Black Box HD here, and I'm going to install it. It does have, of course, the modes. It has the record button, and then, of course, toggling switch here. And then on the top, you have your power button, and then, of course, you also have your other menu button right here, which is the M for menu. And then you have your AV out, which you can also have there, then your USB connection. And right here goes your MicroSD chips, and I use a 32 gigabyte. I think that's the maximum size this one can actually handle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and install this, and with the help of Mercy Girl videotaping while I'm doing it, we'll go ahead and have a good video of the install of this new HD camera up in the front and me moving the old one to the back of the car. So this is Mac T, and stand by for the installation. Now a quick review. These are, of course, the SanDisk, and these are, of course, macro adapters, and these are the actual SD card adapters, and these are, of course, the micro SD cards that fit inside each one of these. Now I bought these here on I think it was Amazon for $20-some, mid 20s at the most. They're 32 gigabyte each, and of course they are the MicroSDHC chips that I need in order to take and use in the dash cam, and it only takes one, so I got a spare one when one goes bad, because after they overwrite for a lot of times they tend to go bad. So I do have an extra one that I can use, or I can use in this video camera for that fact. But again, I'm going to install this into the dash cam, and then I'm going to go ahead and go outside and install the whole thing with the help of Mercy Girl. Now this is where we have the cord that I hook up to the dash cam. Now the dash cam, if you want to come get a close look over here, all you have to do is undo this right here, undo that, and then literally just pop this section out, just like that. This ball comes out. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I already have the ball right here. So what I'm going to do is first plug in the camera. You got the connection right here. You plug in the dash cam, and we already have power, and we see our little indicator light right here, and we see the screen that comes on. Now, as you can see, I got the dash cam, I'm checking it, and it all works, and it's recording and everything else. And it's automatically defaulted at a 3-minute loop, okay? And it's recording date, time, and everything else. And the time, of course, is not correct. So what we want to do is we want to go into the menu. And of course, we got 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 5 minutes. I'm going to shoot for the 3-minute, but that makes a lot more files. So we're going to go ahead and shoot for the 5-minute, get a longer running file, but you get less files. Now this comes into effect while you're making your various videos. When you create a new file, it takes up a little more space. So if you make more files, it would stand you take more space, and you have more folders. So in a way, we can go with the 5 minutes, which is usually what I do. And of course, we got the widescreen, we got that on, that's what we want. And then we got our exposure, and that's just set how you want your exposure to be, and I'm just going to go with the default on it. And then motion detection, basically I'm going to have that off because I'm going to run a continuous loop. Record audio, we're going to have on to record audio. Our date stamp, we're going to have that on. Our gravity sensor.
This is a Mercy Girl production.
We can put that on medium sensitivity. And then license plate number, we're not going to put that in there, but you can do that. So but what we're also going to do is go back to our menu, and got our capture resolution. Capture mode, single, 2 seconds, 5 seconds. That's if you're going to be doing different things with your video as far as capturing. You can set it on a 5-second capture or a 10-second. Your resolution, now this is the highest resolution you're going to have, but keep in mind that's 12 megapixels, 12 megabytes. So essentially your resolution is going to be pretty high on there. If you want to use less card, you can actually take and make your resolution go down to a smaller amount. So it just depends what you want to do. I'm going to go with the 5 and experiment with that and see how that works. I just don't want to burn up the card really fast as far as recording a lot, so I'm going to shoot with that one. The sequence, we can go with that as far as I don't know what the sequence is. I'm going to leave that. And then quality, we want fine quality. Sharpness, white balance, color, ISO, exposure, anti-shaking, we want that on. Quick review, our date stamp, we want the date and the time. So we're going to go with that. And then of course we want to go over to the menu and go to our date and time. And the year, of course, is 2015. and the date of the month is July, and the date is the 29th. And of course the time is 13:20. So we set the time. English is what we want. TV mode. We want NTSC. Lamp setting, day mode, format. We're going to go to the lamp setting and set it to night mode, and then we're going to run off of an SD card, and it says OK, and it's of course doing that. But we can do a screen shaver, Elisha default setting, in your versions and everything else. So we're done with that. This is our camera as we got it set up, and of course it's on 5-minute loops, and we got an active microphone. So after you get all that set up, then you just merely go back up in here to the ball, and you push it up onto the ball, and then you go up underneath here and you screw this on nice and tight, and then of course you can get your car's camera set up so that it is facing forward the way you want it to face, and then tighten her up nice and tight, and then of course, and then I can see the bottom of the screen when I'm driving and actively see, you know, if it's recording. You can see the recording and everything else while you got the car parked. So you can go to the mall, leave it running, it will record everything that happens while you're at the mall or anything else. It'll stay running, so you don't have to worry about turning it off. Now when you take and follow the cord, you can see that I got it up over here underneath the vent, and then I run it up underneath and through the pillar all the way down and under and over here to my connections down here. So I got all my connections hooked up. So as you can see, that's all plugged in. Take and install the back camera. Now keep in mind, this is my old camera, and I put a thing on here because the LED readout is broken and it runs all the time. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. But what I'm going to do is plug in right here, and then I'm going to reverse the wiring a little bit. I'm going to fix. Now when you take it, plug this on, you want to take and you want to find the dead center here, and you got the heating filaments and everything that you got up in here. So what you want to do is just get it plugged right into there, and then of course get it facing the best way you can. Now first thing also you want to do is, once you get that up on there, you want to make sure you get your camera plugged in. Okay, and then you got that all set up, and that should be just about where you want it. Now you got to try to take and make sure you got enough room, but then you find a spot up underneath here because you don't want to have too much loose area, and then you just run this cable right up underneath the pillar and the seam, just like so. You just fix it right up in there so that it doesn't catch on anything, and you run it all the way down underneath there, so you can hide it. And then you take your wire tie and you coil up your cable, giving it a little bit of room. You wire tie this thing back again, just to keep it out of the way. And you can just hide it right back here so it doesn't catch on too much stuff.
Well, if some people don't have that.
And then you got your cable out of the way. Facing it up more or less, so I give myself a little room because I'm always pulling stuff in and out and trying not to break it. But this is how you can hook it up, and of course how you get your camera running and everything else. Now you look at the camera, and of course you can't really see anything in there, but you can see that it is, of course, angled in there. And what we do is we get a good view of the back right back here, and make sure that we got enough of the car and everything else going in there. And then of course we got our view and everything else that we need. So we got the camera set up in the back here, and now we can take and go out and give her a test run and see what they do. And I'll have some video to show you the front and the back view as we're driving with our new dash cams on. So let's go for Mercy Girl, you ready to go for a test run?
This is a Mercy Girl production.
Okay, let's go for a quick run and see what kind of video we get when we drive around with our new dash cams.
I'm sleepy. Thank you for watching, and remember to like my videos and subscribe to Mac T.